Vincent, a lot's been said, a lot's been spoken and written about in the last few weeks. Nearly here now. What's your mood?
I'm naturally in a good mood. I'm a positive person, so but I'm looking forward to the start of the season and to be in the championship with this team and to start what I hope will be the beginning of a long journey with this club. Yeah.
What should we expect from Burnley at Huddersfield?
I'm going to avoid predicting too much because it's the first time I will play in the championship. I think the more I get to know the league, the more I'll know. But what I know for sure is that we'll go there with a team that needs to compete, try and win the game, and see how we can measure ourselves against some of the best teams in the league. So we've got Luton, who was in the playoff. We've got Huddersfield, who was in the playoff. We got Watford, who was obviously a team in the Premier League last season. So within 3 games, we get a chance to see where we're at against some of the best teams in the league.
How important is it that you start the season well?
It's always said it's important, and I mean I've never heard a manager say, "No, let's start bad and then build it up from there." So I'm along the same lines. I want to start strong, but I think we're in a little bit of a different period than maybe other clubs. We're turning over a lot of players at the moment. New players coming in, players leaving. My priority is to try and get points early doors if we can, as much as we can, to then benefit later on in the season from lads coming together more as a group. But these things don't happen by miracle.
You've been and done a lot of shopping. Do you know now, at this stage in preparation, what your starting 11 is going to be?
Well, I have a pretty good idea. It's part of my job, obviously, but what I don't want to I don't want to get out of the way from the reality. So I think I'll mention it in the first press conference just so you see that I can be constant over a period of a season. I mean, the starting point for us is that we have lost and released a whole bunch of players who were the core of this team for many, many years. So all the success associated to this club for many years, those players many of those names have gone. And then we are trying to replace them with the restrictions that everybody knows, which is the job that I was given, that I signed up for. That's what I wanted to do as well. But we are trying to replace them with players with either less experience or who are quite cheap, who on the long term are going to give strong foundations to this club. So for me to come and tell you look, hey, we're gonna have the best performance ever on Friday, and I hope so, but it has to be a little bit more of a long-term planning.
But is there every reason to be optimistic and positive? I mean, the chairman the other day was talking about a whole new generation of players that you've brought in. It feels like a whole new era.
Yeah, no, there's loads of reasons to be positive. For us, the biggest taking we've had as coaches is just the application of the team. And I mentioned the word togetherness and hard work, and that's what has always been associated with Burnley Football Club. That's what will remain. So that side of it, we've ticked the boxes pretty nicely. And then in terms of performances, like I said, we'll know after Friday and we'll build from there.
How do you get the blend right? How do you establish the partnerships? Is it very much trial and error for you?
Yeah, trial and error it's the way it goes in normal life, but in football, you get more trials, you get less trials and less errors, less margin for that. I think now it all starts with at least having a very clear idea of what you want players to do and then fitting the profiles around that. And my goal is to build a team that can win games, but to go and say you're gonna, I would say the clearest way I can put it is that we're not a parachute team, and that puts us, I think, in the right context of where we'll be at this season. But at the same time, you don't have to be, to be successful.
And as a manager, do you divide the season up into chunks of games? A lot of managers do, and assess where they are after so many games. Is that your style?
Yeah, I do, but I have to learn doing it over 46 games now. So that no matter how many chunks I make of it, they still seem big. But I think in my case, I've mentioned to start off three teams where we know they're going to be teams that are competing because they did so last season. No matter what, you can talk about the size of the clubs and stuff, but they were there last season. And those 3 games happen all within the transfer period still as well. So it's a very good moment to have those games and assess and see, you know, if we win the next 3, we'll know we're all right. And if we're going the other way, it gives us a little bit of room to make even better informed decisions.
You've done a lot of shopping, as I said. Have you finished shopping?
Well, if you counted the numbers of names that have left and the numbers of names that have come in, we've still got some work to do.
So you haven't finished shopping?
Yeah, pretty much.
And can I just ask you about your relationship with Craig? Because I think last time we sat here and talked, Craig hadn't been confirmed. So now Craig's been with you now here for a few weeks. How does that relationship work?
Craig is one of the most knowledgeable. He was knowledgeable as a player already. Understands the game really well, but also is as a coach. I don't think many people know in how much depth he's able to go into. You know, when he delivers his training sessions, and is someone who knows the championship as well. So I've always been very honest in saying I don't know the championship. You interview me in 3 weeks, and I will in other ways. But he does, and him and other staff within the club are people that help me just make sure we don't have too many blind spots now.
And who's the good cop and who's the bad cop?
I'm definitely... it depends of the day. It's a good question. Because I picture myself as a good cop, and then I've got these flashbacks of me. I don't know, it depends of the days. It usually goes, he gets angry, I'm the good cop. I get angry, he turns into the good cop all of a sudden.
So you're flexible? Yeah,
flexible, that's how it works. But we've got, in that sense as well, like I said, we do have a team where, you know, I think lads are accountable for what they do, and we need it. Like, we can't come down and think that things are going to be easy. We can't come down with any type of arrogance. I will not accept it. We've come down and we've put at the forefront hard work and improvement. Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Hi Vincent, Mickey Gray, TalkSport. First of all, welcome back to England.
Thank you.
Yeah, Vincent, we know you as a player. What can we expect from Vincent Kompany, the manager?
Relentless. I think that's the best way to describe it. I think in terms of who I am as a person, I'm naturally brave, but I'm very, you know, self-critical as well. So I'm brave because I throw myself in a situation and I say, okay, we'll see what happens. But then at the same time, I'm willing to really see it through. I'm willing to work hard to make it work, and so this kind of fits the description well.
Mm. In the past, we've kind of seen Burnley as a very direct team. What are we going to see different under yourself?
Yeah, I mean, the style of play might change, but like I said, I think it's more the values and the culture that needs to remain. And I've been at other clubs where you go through change, but you're in the Northwest, you're in Burnley, you got to work hard. And the lads have got to be able to, you know, we can still speak to. They need to be able to be spoken to directly. The balls might not come as direct, but the words and the conversations will be direct, and that remains. And then the rest of it is just.
The championship itself, I mean, it's a grueling league, and I think you just mentioned before about your squad maybe being finished. Is it ready to battle every single week on a Tuesday and a Saturday in the championship?
I think it's ready to put in the work, but I've stayed away from any big statements. One, because I don't want to be, you know, within 3 weeks' time, or he's found out about the championship. So I say I don't know, but you know, it's only a matter of weeks, and then I'm a part of it. I'm willing to be a part of it. I'm willing to take it for every challenge that he's got as well, and I think as a player, part of me was meant to play in the championship as well. Just I had a little bit more that allowed me to play at a higher level. But my nature is to be equally as aggressive and equally as you know, driven as anybody in that league.
Expectations. I know you obviously had a very good squad before you walk through the door. Experienced players have left. You brought in probably more so inexperienced players. But do you see a playoff challenge or maybe even higher than that?
No, like I said, I want to be really direct with this, and I pointed the picture out. We came down and just I want everybody to be clear as well that this is what I signed up for. So it's not a surprise, but you know, there's a part of the debt repayments that have been mentioned really clearly in the press before I even came there, and all the doomsday scenarios that would be attached to it. Then there's a part of it that we've lost a huge core of the team without really making money on. Yeah, we're going to be making money on 2 or 3 players, but out of 12 core players, you make maybe money on 3 or 4. That's not enough to replace all these bodies with quality. But the idea is that we find players that suit the system and the way we want to play, and we grow with these players. And if these players are ready this year, then so be it. And if they're not, we keep going and we keep building, and we build foundations to be healthy again, because this club has been healthy for many, many years.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you say it was more of a process over the next 2 or 3 seasons with you?
Yeah, but it sounds daft to say it as a manager, right? So you start talking 2 or 3 years, you think, well, do the first 2 or 3 games and then we'll talk about the future. So I'm very calm with that, but I'm not going to go away from the reality, because everything is always linked. You know, there's no point in, you know, everything is always linked, and for me it's just to find a way to win against Huddersfield, find a way to make this team improve as quickly as possible. But that was the mission. That's actually why I came here. Yeah.
Thanks, Vincent. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, that's it.
Thank you.
Hi, Vincent.
Hi there.
Are you just able to give us a sort of outlook on the injury situation, and is anyone sort of unavailable for Friday night through fitness?
Right, okay. So how I work with this is I usually, you know, I don't like to lie in general.
But you're getting.
So it's kind of a thing where if you bring the information and you ask me a question, I might be on it, I might be open about it, but I'm not going to give it you all. Do you know what I mean? Especially know about injuries.
Okay. Is Scott Twine and Taylor Howard-Bellis available for selection?
Clever, because you've put 3 names in one question. I was going to give you one question out as well. Say it again.
Is Scott Twine and Taylor Howard-Bellis available?
Yes.
Perfect. I'll move on
That's
away
it.
from injuries.
Yeah.
Just last time we spoke about Maxwell after Shrewsbury, obviously didn't feature in that game. I think you said he had a couple of offers.
Yeah.
He's obviously still here. What's the situation with him at the moment, and do you expect him to be part of the squad for Friday?
Yeah, as a coach, he's one of them that I've had to manage. So, you know, it's been a day-to-day type of update, but at the moment he's at the club. Is he ready to play on Friday? No. But, you know, we can't have players on the pay, on the wage bill, and not have them play. But now it's because he's not ready to play physically. If next week he's still there and nothing develops, we're gonna have to start looking at integrating him at least into our match day process.
Is it a similar situation with Dwight McNeil, or is he, because I understand there's been interest in him as well this window?
Yeah, I mean, Dwight is another one. There's been a lot of conversations happening behind the scenes, and I think those happen, to be honest, between the club and those happen on a club-to-club level, and it's one that I'll have to see in the next few days how it develops, you know, and day by day.
On sort of trying to retain your better players, or your more experienced players, and the ones who've been at Burnley for a little while, such as Dwight and your Josh Brownhills, Charlie Taylors, etc.
Yeah.
Is it a case that if a Premier League club comes in with a decent offer and the player expresses an interest to go, that you won't stand in their way, as we've seen with Nick Pope and Nathan Collins, or are you in a position to say, no, we want to keep you here?
No, there's every intention to stand in their way, but it's something that we have to monitor case by case. There's definitely not.
That's not someone leaving, is it?
Yeah, that's Maxwell going there. Yeah.
Escaping on a quad bike.
Yeah, it's Premier League players, they go what, by helicopter nowadays, isn't it? So we're all right. Look, go through your question again. It gives me some time to think about it as well.
Just obviously, you'd like to retain your key players and your senior players.
I remember the question.
Be here a while, but it's not always easy.
No, but it's definitely not. It's definitely not the intention to let just people go like this. Case by case, it has to fit within a plan. So even the players who are leaving, you do it. You don't do it in a random way. You try and have cover and make sure that you can, at least line up the next ones, because we have talented players, but there's talented players in football. It's for us to go and find them, but not everyone can just go like that. It's just a few ones that are linked to the situation of the club, which was known before.
Does potential player sales, what it will do, impact who you're able to go after in terms of replacements?
Yeah,
sort of plan
it always does.
Together?
Yeah, of course, it always does. It's. I think the discussion is more, and it's really. I prefer to be transparent so you understand as well, how we're thinking of things. So, like I said, you lose, and you could go counting, and I might be off with one or two, but let's say you lose 12 players, and a lot of them were the ones that have been the core of this club for like many years, and retain the club into the Premier League. You go across, you look at your Norwiches and stuff, they're not losing that amount of players. We are, and then you look at how many players we can actually recover value from. It's only 2 or 3 of these players, whereas other clubs, if you have to let players go, usually you recover value on at least more than half of them. It's not the case. We're not able to do that. So then we've got to replace those 12 bodies with the proceeds of 2 or 3 players to make the squad competitive. And that's where it's a challenge that I've known before. I've had a young career as a coach, but I've had these type of challenges since I started. And the whole thing about this is, can you replace one player for 3 or 4 players, and can these players in the future be, your next Nathan Collins or your next, that's literally how you work it. And the idea behind all of this as well is that you bring in a team who can compete because they're a team. The foundation of what made Burnley successful going to the Premier League in the first place, it took years. But this is the idea.
How tough is it for you as manager and your coaching staff and the chairman and everyone behind the scenes to sort of cope with that dramatic an overhaul of players and have limited funds to go and replace?
I've never had a team with less than 12 or 13 new players coming in and out. So for me, my career, it's all I've known, and you add the fact that my first 2 years with COVID as well. So far it's been, it's been the most relaxing it's been so far, yeah.
Last one from me. I know you're sort of still after a few more bodies in the building between now and deadline day.
Yeah.
However, just looking at what you've got in place already, it seems in a couple of positions, midfield, centre half, perhaps you've already got quite a good bit of depth. How sort of difficult a selection decision do you face on Friday between putting too many new players in, perhaps, or retaining some of the ones who were here last season? It looks like you've got quite a few marginal calls to make there, which is what you want.
Yeah, it's what I want across the whole squad. And we were lucky, to be honest, that a couple of the guys that we brought into the club over a very short period of time, we've kind of been able to put our minds at ease a little bit, because we can see that they're going to be good players for us, whether it's happening on Friday or whether it's over a period of 12 months, but they'll be good players. So in that sense, I would trust anyone I need to play. But of course, at this point, you're looking more for a way to put those players on the pitch, rather than to make them face sitting on the bench, and because we can't afford to leave those players out.
Lovely. Thank you very much. All
Thank
the best
you.
for Friday.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, that's the end of the broadcast.